Hello there, and welcome to Women's Business.
My name is Dr. Marianne Shallcross-Smith, known to most as Dr. Daycare, and this is my co-host, Amy Vogel. We'd like to welcome you to our mentoring program designed to educate our community on issues facing working women. We will be speaking to our guests in the areas art, sciences, health, education, law, medicine, politics, community service, military, and business.
The goal of the show is to provide information that comes only from personal experience and to pass this information down to our daughters, nieces, neighbors, family, and friends. Much of the content will relate to the guest speaker's journey in their profession, what they have learned most about this process, and what they wished they had known before this journey began. Since women-owned businesses are the fastest growing sector of our economy, my guests will close with what lesson they would like to pass on to the viewing audience.
Hi, my name is Lisa Furtado, and I'm guest hosting today for Marianne and Amy. I'm the Special Needs Director for the company, Dr. Daycare. And today with me, I have a guest by the name of Karen Gasperini, and I'm very excited to hear about all of her work in her children's literature books. Hi, Karen, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good,
Thanks for
good.
having me.
Thanks for being here. So let's get right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to writing children's books.
Well, it was more, I didn't start writing them. It was more like stories. I told my daughter, she's actually going to be 16 this year. She's, when she was a toddler, she had to wear AFOs, as the same ones you see there. They're, leg braces to help correct her club feet. And she was, as toddlers are, they don't really like to do things they don't want to do, especially go to, physical therapy. So she didn't like to. She wanted to go play with her friends. So I tell her, you don't have to think as physical therapy as something bad. It could be something fun, using your imagination. So I would tell her her AFOs were magic boots instead.
Aww.
And they could take her on adventures. All she had to do is close her eyes and stop 3 times and say, away we go. And then we would be where she wanted to be. So the first book I have is the one where I started with, which is Ariana's Magic Boots. And it's Ariana starting out wearing her AFOs, and then she goes to physical therapy. And when she's at physical therapy, as you can see here, she's wearing her AFOs, putting them on.
Oh, very nice.
And you could see she goes to physical therapy, and then she sees a picture on the wall, and she says she wants to go to the jungle instead. So she uses her magic words and stops 3 times, and then she's in the jungle instead of physical therapy.
What
So
a
that's
powerful message to give your child. It's very inspiring.
Thank you. So it was basically me telling her stories, and then 10 years later, deciding, a friend of mine who's actually an author as well, he does I Wanna Be A, he's D'Angelo Hunt, he told me, oh, those are great stories, you should put them in a book. And that's what I did. So it ended up being, and my daughter is excited about it because she feels like if there were books that had those type of particular things in it, when she was that age, maybe it would have made it more fun to go to physical therapy. And if it wasn't for me, it made it a little bit more funner, especially since I myself had to wear AFOs. So, but mine's were kind of the Forrest Gump type ones.
Right.
So now they have like the super cool ones with the
Right, with all the
different things.
designs and the different colors,
So-
absolutely.
It still helps, make it, fun to imagine that she's somewhere different and having fun. And in the first book, she helps a baby monkey find her mom. And the second one, she goes undersea. So she goes to the beach with her parents, and she sees the castle she's making with her parents, and she wants to go meet the mermaids. She says, this is where the mermaids live. And that's what she does. And she meets the mermaids. And actually, the three mermaids are based on my niece because they wanted to be the mermaids. So
Oh,
I put them in the book, which end up working out. And one of my nieces, Destiny, she wears a hearing aid, so I made sure her mermaid had the hearing aid in it, so
very
she
nice.
could feel included. And my niece, the youngest one, has glasses, so she has hers. But I also let the children know that those things were made with mermaid magic. That's why they work underwater.
Right.
So
So have you connected back with the physical therapy or the people who do physical therapy on the children to share your books with them?
only the ones that work with my daughter mainly. I haven't broadened it out. In the first book, I did credit my daughter's physical therapist, who has always been there for her and helped her through a lot. If it wasn't for her, my daughter probably wouldn't be as far as she is right now. Miss Jane, we love her. We love you, Miss Jane. And so it's been a challenge, but it's been great. And now, like I said, my daughter's going to be 16. She still wears AFOs, but she's excited that they're books, so maybe they can help other toddlers,
Right.
not feel like it's bad to go to physical therapy, that it can be fun and help you in the long run as well.
Right. And no matter what your disability, you can be inspired to do thing that you want and dream about in the world. So I think that that's wonderful. I mean, that's what I work for every day. So I really appreciate the books. It's
Thank you.
amazing. So tell us a little bit about you and about how you started out and like what was the original, like when did the original idea come to your head? Like, I want to write a children's book.
Actually, it really didn't. It was more just, it was kind of like a deja vu when my daughter was a toddler and she said, "Oh, I don't really want to go to therapy." And I remember saying that type of stuff to my mom when I was wearing my AFOs. And then I said, you know what, let's, create this world where it could be fun when you go to therapy. So then, as time went by, it's like after telling other parents that have children with special needs, in my group, which is I have Beale syndrome, and a lot of people with my disability do wear AFOs.
Can you tell us a little bit about that? Because I honestly don't know what that is.
It's actually a genetic disorder. It's like an extra chromosome, they say.
Okay.
It's kind of like a lot of people are familiar with Morphans. It's like Morphans,
Yep.
but it's actually they call it the brother or sister of Morphans.
Oh, okay.
So in Rhode Island, I'm the only case.
Wow.
So that I'm aware of, that they told
Wow.
me, my
That's
daughter
neat.
and I. So she has it as well. But I was told in Boston, I believe there are some people that have it. But, not many people understand it. It's just basically a physical disability more than a mental. My daughter's actually super duper smart, and she's a high honors student as well right now in high school. So it has some challenges, but I feel we push through them and make things adapt the way it works for us.
Right. Very good. So how has the journey been, or your journey been with the book, and since the beginning of the book and writing the book and illustrating the book, what was all that like for you?
It was a learning experience because I didn't really have anyone to look forward to help me, because like I said, my friend who has published his books, he hired someone to do his, and I did mine on my own because
Wow.
yeah, I couldn't afford to hire somebody. So I figured I would find a way to do it myself. And YouTube has everything. So
Oh, that's great.
I trained myself to all the steps that I needed to do.
Wow.
I actually took me 10 years to find the right illustrator. I had several illustrators lined up, but they didn't work out. And I found Fiverr.com, where they have illustrators that you don't pay too much to hire them to illustrate what you want.
And what is the secret of a good illustrator if you're a writer?
For me, I wanted someone who could do vibrant colors in the animation and, draw that toddler in to feel like that's them in the story.
Yep.
The bright colors, like I said, the animation type, bubbly cartoon type illustrations.
Mhm.
I think it depends on what the author is looking for. For me, that's what I was looking for.
Very nice. Very nice. And how is your daughter, how does she respond now to the books? Is she so proud of them, she takes them with her and shares them, or is it more of, Mom, that's amazing?
She's excited, but she is a teenager too.
Yes.
So she's like, "Oh, Mom," And then when there are interviews with me talking about it, and with her, she goes to school and the school and her classmates or teachers, she's like, "Oh boy, you see my mom on TV again?"
They get a little shy when their moms are getting the press, don't they?
Yeah, she does, and she's still a typical teenager, no matter what physical disability she has. It's more like, oh, Mom, it's great. She's excited about it, but after a while, they don't want to keep hearing it.
No, she doesn't want to relive it. If you could give someone who wants to write a children's book some advice, what would be the best advice you could give them?
I would say don't give up, to keep trying and trying, because honestly, I tried first before I did it. I tried to reach out to publishers and agents, and they denied me countless amounts of being denied, because my books are not typical books, commercial books.
Right.
Their thing was to me that they wouldn't know how to market me. So after a while, I just said, you know what? I'm going to do it my way. And then I felt that since there's no book on the shelf like mine, then I'm going to create mine, my stories on the shelf, so other children can have that and hold it and see them with those AFOs on, just like they wear every day. But I would definitely say don't give up, and it's not as hard as it seems to do it. You just got to find someone to illustrate the way you want it. Like I said, I was very picky who illustrated mine, because I wanted to be the way I saw them, But in the end, I'm glad I waited this long, because I feel like it's the right time for them to be out now.
And who that would be the most successful, story. What was the absolute worst part of writing the book?
The absolute worst part, it was more of the
Or the challenge?
the challenge.
The challenge, not the worst. I'm sorry.
It's I would say trying to find the illustrator that I really liked, and having the words the way I wanted them to be. It was more, and make sure certain animals that were drawn the way I wanted them, and they were represented right. The mermaids were represented right, and represented my nieces right and my daughter right, because the main character is drawn from my daughter's picture when she was 5. So that's exactly how she looked when she was 5.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I also put that in the back of the books, so that way people can see that is, as you can see here.
Oh, very nice.
And that's me wearing my AFOs with my little brother. So
Wow.
I show that so children can see that I'm not just writing something. I actually know what I'm talking about.
Right.
I have been through it, the emotional of it, and the ups and downs, and the happy parts and the sad parts as well. So.
Yep. Absolutely. So how are you selling the books now? Like, if I was to purchase a book, where would I find one? Where would I purchase one?
Right now, they're on Amazon.com.
Oh,
They are on BarnesandNoble.com, and they also are in Pawtucket at the bookstore Stillwater on Main Street in Pawtucket. Yes. So any of those 3 places, you can get the book.
Very nice. Very nice. So where do you go from here? What do you think? Do you think you'll write more, or?
I have a few more that I've been thinking about, but I also have been writing my memoir and self-help book. I have a lot of people that I actually talk to that, talk to me because they're going through what I've gone through with the physical disability. And a lot of them ask me, how do I remain so positive and how difficult it is for them to handle it. So I figured helping them, putting it all in my book might help a lot easier for them to refer to it back, and all the questions they might have. It's a little difficult for some people to handle the physical disability that I have, but for me, it wasn't a problem. But I have an amazing support system. I have my parents, I have my brothers and sisters. I'm actually the middle child. And in the household, my parents didn't teach me, or treat me, I should say, any different than the rest of my brothers and sisters.
That's great.
My mom actually didn't play no games. So when I had chores just like everybody else, and I had to do my chores just like everybody else, or I would be on punishment just like everybody else. So I believe my mom is who made me who I am. She made me strong. And I hope that I am making my daughter as strong as my mom made me. So definitely.
So how do you keep all the balance of writing books and doing life and all of that stuff? How do you keep a good balance as a woman in business?
I'm actually trying to figure it out still. There are times that I feel like I have it figured out, but then something shifts, and I have to reevaluate. But I think the best thing to do is not to panic and just take it one thing at a time. I actually am a student at Fisher College in Boston.
Oh,
I'm going there for medical coding and billing. I'm going to graduate next year.
wow, congratulations.
Thank
That's
you.
great.
So I do that, and I have some awards for my poetry that I did speak in a conference in Florida for my poetry that they published. So I feel like I kind of just try to do it all. I know
Yep.
I want to do it all. I mean, why, just not try everything if I can, as much as I can. But I mean, that's how we women are. We're strong and we want to do it all. So, but I think it's, I'm managing it well.
Good
I
for
do.
you.
I do have my days where I need to take a break.
Yep.
And
What do you do for leisure? What do those days look like when it's just a Karen day?
It's movies with my daughter, or arts and crafts with my daughter. We like to do arts and crafts. My mom taught me how to make baby books, like baby photo album books.
Oh, very nice.
My mom's a seamstress, and she actually used to make prom dresses for Hope High School for the girls there. So she taught my sister and I how to make baby books and blankets. So sometimes I make baby books for, friends or family members when they're having a baby. So it's usually something that relaxes me.
Very sweet.
That or reading. I love reading. Always reading. My daughter and I read a lot together.
So if you had any advice for just young women in general, getting into business, what might that look like? What might you say to them?
I would say research, especially if you're not sure what the steps are that you're trying to take. Research as much as you can. That way you could find exactly the steps you need to take. That's what I did with mine, and then I followed a lot of videos. And also the amazing thing about self-publishing on Creative Space, which is Amazon's website, they give you step by step.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
They break everything down for you.
They do. And especially if you're a beginner, you just click on you're a beginner, and then they make everything visual and step by step. If you're a veteran on it, you can also click that as well, an expert, and you would bypass all that. But even though I did my second one, I always press beginner because I want to make sure I don't miss any steps. But I would definitely say there's a lot of information out there, and it's always good to just keep researching and before you feel like you're not sure, of what you're getting into or what steps you need to take to do something. And make sure you don't listen to what other people say, because if I would have listened to what those agents or publishers said, I wouldn't have published my own books by now.
Right, so you stayed strong and you fought through it and you got your end result. I mean, the books
Exactly.
are absolutely beautiful. They're gorgeous.
Thank
And
you.
of course, being a special needs director, I love seeing things like this out
Yeah.
because, I mean, it's really important to teach children with special needs how to be included. And that's what we believe in every day, inclusion programming. So we appreciate the fact that you've written such great material to be able to help children feel like every other child. So it's really, really important to us as well. So thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
Do you ever do like guest readings, or do you go to, have you ever been invited to schools or libraries, or did you read at Stillwater or anything like that?
I have. I just haven't yet. Actually, Marianne invited me to hers.
Oh, that's great, because I was going to invite you as well.
So her and I were working that out.
Oh, good.
And a few other daycares have invited me, and
That's great.
my daughter's school, old elementary school. Stillwater, I'm actually working on with them what's the best schedule for that. But you could find that on the website when that schedule is going to be up. But right now, I just kind of been trying not to overwhelm myself, but I definitely want to, you know, be an advocate as much as I can to spread, you know, these books to help other children that might not know about them.
Right. What about the cost of doing all this? I mean, is your average person able to do this? Is there a large cost to writing a book, or putting it all together? Or not exactly like the numbers, but is it something that, you know, most people can try to make an attempt at reasonably?
Yes, I believe so. I mean, I was able to do it on little funding that I had from family members, basically donating
That's great.
and helping me, you know, reach my goal. My older brother has been so supportive in paying for my illustrations and things like that. But it's not as expensive as you would think it would be. It's between maybe, so it depends on how many illustrations you need. And it could be between $50 to $150
Oh,
for just the illustrations.
okay.
But I also need to hire someone to do the layout because I didn't know how to do that.
Mhm.
You want it to be, you know, in the right format for Amazon for them to approve your books.
Oh, okay.
So I hired someone for that, and that was about $60, which really isn't, a huge amount, but it works. It's good to have someone, you know, to do that type of thing for you, especially if you're not sure what you're doing. But as I said, Fiverr.com is like amazing. You could that's why it's called Fiverr. It's like $5 or more.
Oh, okay.
They have so many different things to help anyone starting out.
Well, that's very informative for someone who's never written a book. So thank you for that. So, what are your goals from here? What do you wish to do from here?
Maybe make a third book and also finish up my memoir self-help book. I'm more just promoting these at the moment while I'm working on those other two in the background, so to speak.
And going to school, which
Yes.
is, you know,
Well, the school, it's online, so that helps a lot.
still work though.
Yes, and you have to be on Skype with the class, with your teacher. So it helps when it's in the comfort of your home. So you could take a few minutes and do your class and then work on your homework and then take a little break. And I also have my daughter, and I try to keep her included in all of this because it is a new process and it can be a little demanding when you're promoting 2 new books.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. So, is there anything else that perhaps I didn't ask you that you would like to share?
I don't think so. I do have like I said, my amazing mentor, my mom. And I think everyone needs someone to, push you. And I have my mom, my sister, my dad, they all push me. And I also have, I want to say stepbrothers that I grew up with. Adrian, he actually just had a baby girl recently. So I'm a new aunt.
Oh, that's great.
Yes. And I have Ricky, and I have like, a huge family. So I have like 5 brothers and a sister.
That's great. Family support means so much.
It definitely does.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us today. I just am so excited about seeing these books and having them possibly integrated in our centers, because we are all about inclusion as well. And Marianne and Amy are fully committed to providing inclusion programs for children. And I just want to thank you so much for coming and taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Thank you.